Imagine waking not to the sound of an alarm clock, but to the incessant noise of carts, the shouts of merchants, and the stench of a metropolis of 1,000,000 souls. You open your eyes, but the light barely gets in. The ceiling of your cubicle on the 4th floor of an insula, a poorly constructed apartment building, is stained with smoke and leaks. The cheap wooden and brick walls seem ready to give way. The air is heavy, a mixture of smoke, sewage, and the sweat of thousands of bodies squeezed into the city. You feel the bites of bed bugs infesting your straw mattress. Your last full meal was the bread distributed by the government yesterday. Today, there are no guarantees. Your name is just another in the crowd. Your citizenship, if you have it, is your only valuable currency, but it doesn't fill your belly or protect you from the cold. You are a plebeian in 2nd century Rome, a time when the splendor of the empire was built on the backs of people like you. There are no labor rights, no basic sanitation, no escape. If a fever gets you, you pray to the gods. If a nobleman humiliates you, you lower your head. If you dream of a better life, you wake up. In this video, we will live a single day as a poor citizen in the capital of the world. An imaginative and cruel experiment that will make you grateful for silence, for a glass of clean water, or for simply having a door that locks. Welcome to Rome. Prepare to survive. And don't be fooled. The spectacle of the Colosseum is not for everyone. Your home is a rented cubicle at the top of a building on the verge of collapse. The insulae are built with cheap materials and rise dangerously high. Fires are routine. A knocked-over brazier can devour an entire block in minutes. You sleep listening to the floorboards creak, praying you don't wake up in the middle of the rubble. There is no running water up here. If you need it, you go down 4 flights of stairs to fill a bucket at the public fountain. Space is minimal. You, your wife, and your children share the same cramped room where you sleep, eat, and exist. Privacy is a word that doesn't exist in your vocabulary. Through the thin walls, you hear the fights, the cries, and the pleasures of your neighbors. The noise from the street never ceases. At night, supply carts make an infernal racket. And the trash? It's thrown out the window. Urine, food scraps, feces. It all goes into the alley below. The stench is unbearable, and diseases spread like wildfire. You learn to walk looking up so as not to be hit by an unwanted gift. This is your home, the safe part of the day. Now, it's time to face the street. You wake up with an aching body, not from illness, but from the simple routine of existing. The toil at the port, in the construction of a new temple, or in the quarries has left your muscles in agony. Your hands are thick and calloused, your feet cracked from the worn-out sandals that travel miles of cobblestones every day. There are no painkillers, no rest. If you don't work, you don't eat. The diet is poor, coarse grain bread, a little cheese, olives, and cheap, watered-down wine. Your body is not a temple. It is a tool that wears down day after day. Rome is famous for its public baths, but don't be mistaken. For you, going to the baths is a rare luxury, and even there, hygiene is questionable. The same hot water is shared by hundreds of people, spreading skin infections and other diseases. Soap does not exist. People scrape the dirt off their bodies with a metal blade called a strigil. The public latrines are communal, without partitions. A hotbed of contamination. You live in a city with monumental aqueducts, but drink water from often contaminated fountains. Chronic diarrhea is just part of life. You don't have a steady job. Every morning you go to the forum or a busy square, hoping that a foreman or a rich man needs laborers for the day. The competition is fierce. If you get work, it will be exhausting, and the pay minimal. You often depend on the annona, the state's monthly grain distribution. It is enough to keep from starving, but not to live with dignity. Your life is a constant search for patroness, who can offer you a crumb of protection or a meal in exchange for your loyalty and services. If you are a slave, your situation is even more desperate. You are not a person, you are property, a talking tool, as the agronomist said. Your life is dedicated to forced labor, whether in the mines where life expectancy is a matter of months, or on the vast latifundia, harvesting under the sun and the whip. You can be sold, tortured, or killed at your master's whim. There are no laws to protect you. Your only hope is manumission, liberation, a distant dream that most will never achieve. Walking through Rome is a challenge. The streets are narrow, labyrinthine, and packed with people. Vendors shout, children run, nobles' litters force their way through. Thieves and pickpockets operate freely in the confusion. At night, the city plunges into total darkness. There is no public lighting. Leaving home means risking being robbed, assaulted, or simply getting lost in the dark, fetid alleys. The city guard, the vigils, is more concerned with putting out fires than arresting criminals. You are on your own. To keep the restless masses under control, the emperor offers bread and circuses. The chariot races at the Circus Maximus, and the gladiator combats at the Colosseum are grand and free spectacles. For a few hours you can forget your hunger and misery, cheering for your faction or your favorite fighter. But make no mistake, the violence in the arena is a reminder of the state's power. It is a way to anesthetize the population, offering blood and excitement so that no one thinks of rebelling against the established order. The city is a breeding ground for diseases. The Roman fever, likely malaria, is endemic in the swampiest areas. Contaminated water brings typhoid and dysentery. The lead used in pipes and to sweeten wine slowly poisons the population. Epidemics like the Antonine Plague sweep through the empire, killing millions and decimating cities. Death is a constant companion. The infant mortality rate is staggering. Half of the children do not reach the age of 10. Seeing a child die is a common, almost expected pain. There are no doctors like today. Those who exist follow ancient theories about the body's humors, and their cures are often bloodletting, purgatives, or useless poultices. Surgery is rudimentary and without anesthesia. For most, the cure comes from faith. You make offerings at the temples of Asclepius, the god of healing, hoping for a miracle. Mixtures of herbs, amulets, and prayers are your only tools against an infection that today would be treated with a simple antibiotic. Life expectancy barely exceeds 30 years. Roman religion is a contract. You make offerings and sacrifices, and the gods, in return, protect you. There are gods for everything. Jupiter for the state, Mars for war, Ceres for the harvest, and small household spirits, the Lares and Penates, who protect your home. Maintaining pietas, the duty to the gods, is fundamental. Disrespecting them can bring disgrace not only to you, but to the entire community. Religion does not offer spiritual comfort. It offers a way to negotiate with the unpredictable forces of the universe. Your life is governed by the fear of the supernatural. A bird flying in the wrong direction, a thunderclap on a clear day, a bad dream. Everything is an omen. You believe in ghosts, larvae, in curses cast by an envious neighbor, and in the need for soothsayers to interpret the future. Small phallic-shaped amulets, fastenum, are used to ward off the evil eye. The line between official religion and folk magic is thin. You pray to the gods, but you also whisper incantations to ensure your next endeavor succeeds. There is no childhood. Children are seen as miniature adults. As soon as they can walk, they begin to work. Boys help their fathers in their craft. Girls learn domestic chores. Toys are rare and simple. A rag ball, a wooden top. There is no school for the poor. Education is learning to survive. The harshness of life forces a brutal maturation. At 14, a boy is already considered a man, and a girl may already be married. The family structure is rigid. The paterfamilias, the oldest man in the house, has absolute power over everyone. Legally, he can decide on their life, death, marriage, and even the sale of his children into slavery. Although the execution of a child is rare in this era, the power exists. Daughters are bargaining chips, married off in family alliances around the age of 12 or 13 to much older men. Their will does not matter. Their duty is to obey their father and then their husband. Roman law is a pillar of Western civilization, but it is not equal for all. Justice is divided between the honestiores, the elite, and the humiliores, the common people like you. If a nobleman commits a crime, the punishment is a fine or exile. If you commit the same crime, the punishment is torture, crucifixion, or being thrown to the beasts in the Colosseum for the entertainment of the crowd. Damnatio ad bestias. There are no lawyers for the poor. The accusation of a powerful man is worth more than your innocence. Punishment is not just corrective, it is a spectacle. Public executions are common and serve as a brutal warning to anyone who thinks of challenging the order. Torture is a legal tool to extract confessions, especially from slaves and non-citizens. The violence of the state is visible, constant, and legitimized. It ensures that the immense mass of the poor and disgruntled stays in line, too afraid to revolt. Night in Rome is synonymous with danger. Without public lighting, the streets turn into dark traps. The risk of fire in your insula increases as families use oil lamps for a minimum of light. The sound of carts, banned during the day, echoes through the alleys. The rich lock themselves in their domus with private guards. You lock yourself in your cubicle, hoping the night passes without incident, praying that the ceiling doesn't collapse or a fire doesn't start downstairs. The sun rises and the cycle begins again. There is no hope of social mobility. You were born a plebeian and you will die a plebeian. Your children will inherit your struggle. Life is a daily battle for survival, a constant feeling of being an insignificant cog in a gigantic, indifferent imperial machine. The glory of Rome, its marble temples and victorious armies, seems like a distant world, seen from below with hunger and exhaustion. The Roman Empire did not fall. It transformed. Its laws, its language, and its engineering shaped the Western world. But its legacy is also made of shadows. Brutality as a tool of control, vast social inequality, the idea that spectacle can appease misery. The ruins of the forums and aqueducts are witnesses to its glory, but also to the anonymous sweat and blood that built them. Roman thought, in its logic and its cruelty, still echoes in our power structures. Official history speaks of Caesars, senators, and generals, but the true history of Rome was written in the slums, the mines, and the fields, by the millions of forgotten men, women, and children who lived, suffered, and died for the empire to exist. They have no statues, but they were the ones who paved the roads, harvested the wheat, and raised the children. And perhaps by imagining their lives, we can rescue a piece of their humanity lost under the rubble of time. They were the anonymous beating heart of Rome. And now, it is our turn to listen. If you've made it this far, it's because real, raw, and human history fascinates you. So, don't let these voices be lost again. Subscribe to the channel to uncover more secrets hidden beneath the ruins of the past. Activate the bell so you don't miss our next journeys through time. And share this video with someone who also believes that history is made by people, not just by emperors. The Roman Empire may be over, but its story is far from finished, is far from